Hey everybody, it's Greg Rice. We're here in downtown Providence. We're with Mr. Albert Hajdaraj. How you doing?
What's up, Greg?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Last time we interviewed Albert, he was at HomeSmart. That was a couple years ago. And now Albert is with Real Brokerage. And Albert, what made you switch from HomeSmart, which we love Dean, everybody loves Dean. Hello, Dean.
We love Dean, that's right.
But why did you come out on your own?
It was time. I was at the point in my business where I was building the team and I was doing all these things. So I was at a point in my business where I had to either find a different direction, right? Like I wanted to decide what the next step is. So it was either deciding if I should start a new brokerage or continue to grow my team or look at other opportunities as far as brokerages and what they offer. And then Real was presented to me like, I want to say, like a year before I made the decision, and thinking about it, and it just a lot of things made sense with the company, so that's where I kind of decided to make the move. It was a little bit of a risky move at the time because it's not a highly known brand here in Rhode Island.
Right.
Not a lot of people are with the company, so once I decided to go for it and do it, I definitely had to take a little leap of faith, but once I did it, I realized that on the other side, the upside is so much bigger.
Tell us about that upside, because there's a lot of brick and mortar responsibilities and costs that traditional brokerages have.
Yeah.
What are you shedding and kind of maximizing with Real versus somebody that's doing it the old school way?
I mean, it's almost zero expenses up front. So with a classic brokerage, you're going to have desk fees, you're going to have monthly fees you pay into the brokerage and things like that. Well, with Real, there's none of that, right? Now, this office that I have here, this is my office, I pay for it, but you can decide to work from home, you can work from a car, from a coffee shop, wherever you want.
It could be 100% remote.
100% remote.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the whole point, and that's why the brokerage is so competitive, and that's why the brokerage actually is growing at such a rapid pace, because they can afford to give agents good splits, good systems, innovate all the time, and invest more money into remarketing and really rebranding the agents, because they don't have brick and mortar. So they don't have like your classic, not use home store, like any office, Keller Williams, right? They have all these offices.
Yep.
They have to keep the lights on.
Right.
So it kind of embraces the agent truly as an entrepreneur you are.
Yes.
You can grab your own office, you can do your own thing, and then the company really is more focused on the back end of things, which is giving you systems, giving you education, giving you great competitive splits so that you can get out there and reinvest that money into leads, your own marketing and all that. So like really the company is designed for the independent agent, right?
Let's trim the fat.
Trim the fat. And then that's why they've been able to grow so fast, and it's the scalability is almost infinite. because it's you can't stop it, because they don't have any like office expenses, so they can kind of like give you a lot of the profits even back. I don't know if you want me to go into that, but I don't want to go into like rants. But
another thing I want to bring up, credibility. When you jumped on board, I said, wow, Albert doesn't put his name on just anything, so you put your name on it. And then fast forward to about 2 months ago, you had Don Martone jump on board.
Yes.
Shout out to Don.
That's right.
Let's see. If you add ours up, they're equal.
Not even close.
Not even close.
But you should have Don talk about this too at some point.
So the fact that he bought into it, which is another person that just does not put their name on the line for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it does for everything, but not for anything.
Yeah.
So that meant a lot to me. So I highly recommend that you give Real a look.
Yeah.
And switching gears a little bit here, I love your story. You moved here from Albania in 2013.
13. Yeah.
And tell them at home how that went that first year.
Oh God. So I first got the visa, and I moved, my first job was as a lifeguard in Virginia. So I moved to Virginia, I stayed there for a month and a half, and I was just sitting there as a lifeguard. And I'm like, this is not what I signed up for, I can't do this. So I called them, I said, hey, I'm going to New York. And they said, no, you can't do it. I said, I'm leaving.
There?
The company that had like put me in a position with the other company to get me the job. It's kind of like an international staffing company. But I said, I can't, this is boring, I can't do it. So anyway, decided to move to New York. And then I just found a random job. I moved to New York with a backpack. I didn't know anyone or anything. I didn't really have housing.
What was that job?
My first job was I was a busboy at a restaurant.
Was it Michelangelo's?
Michelangelo's, yes. Yeah.
And didn't they give you an apartment upstairs, or didn't you work for a shelter?
Yeah, so I went and just knocked on the door, walked in the restaurant, hoping that they could guide me in the right direction. And I walk in and I say, hey, this is who I am, this is my situation, I just got here, I don't know where to go, can you guys guide me in the right direction? And then the manager was there, he goes, oh, come sit down and eat. So, Albanian, by the way. So, sat down, talked to him, he goes, okay, he goes, I can get you a job as a busboy in the restaurant because somebody had just quit.
Okay.
I said, but I have no housing. And then the owner of the restaurant had he owned the whole building, so he had apartments above, and some of the students in the area had canceled the lease. So he goes, I could get you there. I didn't have any money, so I just kind of worked for my apartment.
Wow.
And then I saved a little bit of cash, and then like a month later, I grew in there quickly, became a manager, and then left, went to the city to work, then switched up. Like I was in that industry for about 4 years.
Wow.
And then I met my wife there, and then we decided to move here, and then I got slowly into real estate.
Yeah, and when you moved here, it was what, 2016, 17-ish?
I think it was 2016. Yeah, I think 2016 we moved here. At this point, I'm about 24 years old, I believe. I found a job at a restaurant to just get started. And then I knew I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. I couldn't grasp anything yet. I was still just new to the whole country, to the system, so I couldn't really decide on what I wanted to do. So I started trying out new things. I found sales. I did car sales for a little bit.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's where things started clicking for me. I was like, oh, okay. So then I was like, I really like sales. I enjoyed this process, but what can I do that embraces my entrepreneurial spirit a little bit more? So then I found real estate, and that led me.
And a good point to make is you come from a country where entrepreneurial spirit exists, right? But it's not as thriving as it is here. So where did that come from? And this is a two-parter. What do you say to people that live here that say, oh, I don't have no money, I only make this much, there's no opportunity for me, I can't get ahead? Like, what do you say for all the people that are kind of like, and don't recognize what this country has to offer?
So I say to those people that you're right. If you feel that way, you're right, because that's your reality, right? If you think that there's no opportunity, if you think that there's no money, and if you think that the country and all this is not providing opportunity, you're right. I think this country provides the most opportunity out of any country on earth, and I am proof of that.
True.
Right? So it's really easy. It's just it all literally. And I know this sounds corny because you have all those videos about like hard work and all that stuff, but all you have to do is just like pick a thing, whatever that is, and then just dive deep in it. And you might not even succeed at that thing, but you're going to evolve as a person and find different things. This country rewards people who are entrepreneurs, risk takers, who are willing to push forward and who are willing to have courage. That's what this country is designed on, right? So to go back to your other question, which was how it was back home to be an entrepreneurial spirit, have an entrepreneurial spirit, it was not embraced. So like people who I remember growing up, my parents wanted me to be a lawyer, right? And that's what I studied. I did well in school, but I didn't understand why I was studying to be a lawyer. That's just what I thought I should do. But I had always these like ideas, and I would do side hustles and things like that. And I couldn't even tell them because they'd just get upset. They just want me to go to school because that was the ticket. So it's not embraced as a culture. We don't embrace entrepreneurship. It's kind of like, you look at the government, there's no jobs. Even when I go to visit now, I talk to my friends, people are still there, and they'll just tell you. It's kind of the same thing as people who complain here. It's like, there's no opportunity, no jobs, corruption. I'm like, okay, what have you done to look at opportunity?
Yes.
Oh, no, nothing. So if you have that mindset, I don't know first how you fix that. I really don't. But it's a shame if you really do have that mindset. And honestly, no matter where you are in the world, but especially if you're in America, I just think it's a waste of opportunity if you live here and you don't go for something.
Well, it's funny. My lucky lady and I were talking about how people fill their time with things that are unproductive. And America's great for that. If you want to pass time, you could go to a sports game, you could drink, you could do drugs, you can go to the casino, you could do concert, you could do anything you want. It costs money and you spend time. And so many people are caught in that they can't get out of it, and then they're working poor, and then they're working just to pay their mortgage, and then they're miserable in their marriage or the relationship, and it's this vicious cycle. So I think America's so good at distracting people that you're almost blinded by the fact that there is a fast lane to opportunity and success. But it's very noisy.
It is, but also it's because of the prosperity that the country has. You know what I mean? It's because you have options here. You know, I always tell the story. I don't know if I ever told you this before, but when I remember first going to a convenience store in America, and I remember looking at the fridge and seeing like Coke Cherry, Coke Strawberry. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's just so many options, and I remember having this like shock in the moment of like, what do I pick here? Because back home we have Coca-Cola. That's it, right?
Take it or leave it.
Yeah, and that's it. But that shows the prosperity, but also people have options, right? Back home, people don't talk about, I don't know what I want to do with my life. They just want to do something. You know what I mean? And here it's like, oh, is this my passion? Do I follow my passion? Do I do this? Do I do that? Right? And then you have people like go into these holes of depression of this is not what I'm meant to do. And they don't realize you're just meant to work hard at something, and that's how you evolve as a person. You know? So I don't know if kind of went on a tangent there.
Yeah, it's true.
But
it's just we're in our low 30s, and we have the world at our fingertips, literally.
Yeah.
And our peers, a lot of them, they just don't see it that way.
They really don't. It's funny because we were talking about the distractions. Actually, this morning, I woke up at like 6 a.m., made a coffee.
To pee?
No, I peed at 5:45,
Okay.
and then
just check.
I sat down, and then I got up at 6:30, and I was just on like scrolling. Right, I'm like, what did I just do for 30 minutes?
Yeah.
And I was like, I could like buy a course and learn a new skill this morning, right? So it's the distractions, you know. And then you wake up, but at least we're aware, right? At least we say, okay,
correct.
I got distracted today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll make up for this, right? There's a lot of people, they'll stay there for 2 hours and they're like, oh, I got so much anxiety, I'm so depressed.
Okay.
But that's why,
right?
You know. I say it all the time, you know this thing. I just feel like I hit the lottery. Like anytime I'm feeling down, I'm like, oh, I already won. Like I live in America. Like if this doesn't work out, something else will work out.
I feel that way every time I wake up.
Are you gonna put her on camera or no?
Probably not. All right. So how about?
I wanted to go back to Real a little bit more, if you don't mind.
Yeah. I was just about to segue back in. Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. I don't.
No. It's your interview.
I just want to talk a little bit because I am very excited about the company. It's a fine line as an agent. It's a fine line to dance between not being corny with recruiting, right, and sharing the message that Real has to offer. But I just want to talk about myself and how it has improved my career.
Yeah. And
then maybe if whoever has any questions, they can kind of just start off with that. But it's not a fit for everyone, but there's a lot of people that I think it's a fit for.
Yeah.
So the traditional brokerage model, right, is designed for you to go sell a house and get paid. That's it. And then you have to sell another house and get paid. At Real, there's multiple ways on how you get paid. And that's what I really like because it really truly rewards you for all your hard work. So you get paid on commission, low splits, and you cap at $12,000. So in Rhode Island, based on our average price point, you need to sell $3.6 million a year, and then you cap, and then you earn 100% after. All right? So you do that. Then you get paid on stock bonuses, right? So if you buy 5% of stock, they will match 10 or 15%. So that's the other option. And then also it's about attracting people. So if you bring people to the company, the brokerage will reward you financially by the fact you brought people into the company. So it's residual income. Like I just looked at my residual income on that today, and it's not a lot, but I just made $600 in the last 2 weeks doing nothing, right? That's my car payment. So I can grow that, and I am going to grow that to a higher number. And it's just by creating relationship. It's by already what we are doing. It's just that we get rewarded in multiple ways.
Right.
You know. But again, I want to say that the company is not truly designed for the agent that needs their hand held and needs somebody to make them feel good about making a phone call.
Gotcha.
It's for the professional. Like I show up here, I don't need somebody to tell me.
You don't need a coach.
Exactly. Right. It's for the professional who knows what they're doing and they're after it and they're looking for the right kind of outlet to plug into to grow.
So, not a beginner.
I wouldn't say so.
And then maybe somebody that's not super old school that maybe believes in the traditional brick and mortar, somebody at the front desk, conference room, coffee machine, like the whole kit and caboodle. It's that in between. It's people like you.
Correct.
People like Don.
Yes. Because think about it, Greg. In our industry, the average age of an agent is about like 52 years old, right? So most agents in our industry are in like the retiring stages.
Right. Or it's part-time.
Or exactly, it's like half of them are part-time, right? But the agents that are producing, that are, I'm in this for at least the next 10 years, right? So if you're in it for a long term, then you want to figure out ways of how you can grow your business long term, right? And then partnering with companies that are disrupting the industry and bringing something new and fresh to the game. It's proven already, it's working, and it's going to be here for a long time. I just think it's a smart move. You know what I mean? Because you see other brokerages, they're trying to figure out ways on how to compete with this model. But the reason why they can't is because they own the building.
Yes.
So they can't. They have to pay the bills.
Right.
Because if they would, all the Keller Williams, Remax, they all would just simply rebrand themselves.
Correct.
To get this model, everybody would be happier. Everybody would be making more money.
Clean.
It's hard because they have the brick and mortar.
So what is the biggest argument against Real that you've heard on the street? You're the newcomer.
Yes.
Right. The newcomer always gets hit with the tomatoes.
Yes.
What are you hearing is like the number one reason maybe why somebody won't hire you, or a reason why they won't work at Real?
Good question. As far as hiring, to be honest, I haven't had that problem. But even when I worked at HomeSmart, nobody ever asks what brokerage are you with. They're looking at hiring you. Like they decide to hire you as a person.
Gotcha.
So if you're not presentable, if you don't give the vibe and that you know what you're doing, it doesn't matter who you work with. And every agent knows this. Right. As far as cons on agents joining the company and the things that I hear, especially locally, it's a lack of community. So people are looking for that, right? So that I'm actively, as you know, I'm working now with Don and like other people. We're working to create some sort of community, right? So like if you work for Real in Rhode Island, you know that you can go, you can call someone, and like you have like it's a structure. Right now, it doesn't truly exist as a defined structure, right? So like
Not yet.
Not yet, exactly. So people I bring on, I tell them, like, hey, reach out to me anytime. I don't know if I can help you, but I will try my best to help you. Right? So that's a one downside. And the second is people do have this like predisposed belief that they need the brick and mortar and they need a recognizable brand. And honestly, when I first joined, it was a concern for me. So when I said the risk and I took the risk, that was part of it, right? I was like, all right, we'll see if this is actually going to help or hurt my business. But it never came up once, never came up once. Now, does my phone ring because I'm at Real to go list someone's house? No, but it didn't ring when I was at HomeSmart either.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's just streamlined it, but no other noticeable changes as far as like not getting business or attracting clients, etc.
Not really, because at the end of the day, if you have something to sell, if we're talking, I'm just going to say, this is what I bring to the table, this is what I can do for you, this is how much money you're going to make, and this is how I'm going to help you get to the next stage of your life, whatever that is. You're moving out of state, getting a bigger property, smaller property. Here's my plan. I've done it 50 million times. I'm going to do it again for you. And that's what people want to hear. They don't care that we have, a CEO who founded multiple companies.
Right.
Honestly, when I say that, you just see people's eyes go, like they are struggling to pay attention because they don't care. Like they just want what for them. That's what it is.
And how about this market? It's terrible. We were looking for a house, and the houses are C quality, D plus quality, and it's 500-600K, and then you're gonna have to put in 50, 75, 100K to make it nice. What are you noticing there? What's going on? What's the future hold?
Yeah, so I've actually been researching for the last 2 days, just kind of the market in our state, but also just national data. It's very interesting if you look at what's going on in the market right now. If I can talk about Rhode Island,
Yeah.
I'll give you like the agent perspective and then the consumer's perspective of what's happening. So as far as agents goes, we have close to 8,000 agents in Rhode Island. Last year, 4,000 agents, like the top 4,000 agents, at least sold one home, right? So like the you know what I'm saying, right?
The top half.
The top half. This year, only the top 2,000 at least sold one home.
Okay, top quarter.
Yes. So it's very, very tough. Like what worked last year and the year before that is not working today. You have to do triple the work for the same result.
Correct.
So you have to embrace that. And if you're not embracing it, you're going to be out of business in 6 months. It's just what it is. For the consumer side of things, people who bought properties in the last 4 years and also refinanced homes at 3% or just simply have no incentive to sell right now, right? So I don't know if you recently checked MLS, but right now we have about 900 homes for sale in Rhode Island. Last year we had 1,200 around this time. The year before about 1,800. And if you go back to like 2018, we had 2,500.
Wow.
Guess what? In 2018, the conversation was, this is record low inventory.
Wow.
And we need inventory to come up. And it's only been drastically going down, right?
Now it's a third of that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So that's the one problem. Problem number two is interest rates. So interest rates are right now like 7.3%, 7.5%, meaning 50% of buyers have been completely kicked out of the market.
They can't afford.
They can't afford
trailer.
it. Yeah, my wife and I just bought a house, as you know, and I sent her a house the other day. I said, with the monthly payment we have now, we could have bought a $900,000 home.
Oh, the brick house.
Yeah. And that was like that would have been like our forever home. But we were stupid. We didn't do it. We were stupid. But, we were focused on the business and all that stuff, right? So basically, right now, for a buyer to buy an entry home, right? You have to be making $90,000 a year, have low debts, but then most people have a record high credit card debt, right?
Correct.
So it's this craziness in the market that I don't know what's going to happen. I don't see inventory going up. Prices are still going to go up, right? Like when I talk to the seller, no.
We want this.
Yeah.
Our neighbor sold for that.
Yeah. I'm going to try it, see what happens. But when you're a buyer on the other side, it's extremely, extremely competitive,
I just see a lot of people getting themselves into a hole, buying a house just to buy it and win and satisfy their partner or better quality for their children. But they're going to be there for a long time and they can't afford to buy groceries now.
Yeah.
Like you're paying $6,000 a month for this $700,000 house.
Yeah.
And you're gonna refi when? In 5 years, maybe?
It's a risky decision to make to say that I'm gonna buy this. I can't afford it right now, but I'm gonna refi later.
Correct.
Like, what if the interest rates don't go down for the next 5 years?
Right. What if you don't have your job and you can't refi?
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in.
It's scary. So I commend you in being in this market. You're weathering the storm. A lot of people 2 years ago were like, "Oh, I'd see post 60,000 over asking, 4 minutes on market." Like okay, great job. You didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
Seller had house, buyer had money. You're just a face in between.
You just happen to be there.
You are providing value.
Yeah.
You are providing value to the client, to the buyer, and you're pounding the pavement. You're providing content. You're doing all the things that are necessary to create your brand and your image. Yeah. Other people are just like, I'm a realtor. Where's my money?
Exactly.
It doesn't work like that.
I don't know if we have to wrap it up, but
we never wrap it up.
That's right. We keep it unwrapped. You should name the show Unwrapped. Unwrapping businesses. But it's true. It's true, dude. It really is. Most agents are, they just don't know what to do. They just don't know what to do. And it's. I'll tell you about me, right? I had a great first half of the year. And then last month, I've been distracted with my house, and I looked at my pipeline, and it was dry. I'm like, oh, those easy deals are not here anymore, right? So then I just been at work for 2 weeks to generate business the old school way, which I know works, and I already have a full pipeline, like too much to handle even. But most agents just don't even know how to do it because they just haven't been trained. You know, they haven't been trained. So I don't know. I really don't know if and how many people will weather the storm, like you say. But we do need a refresh in Rhode Island, as you know. You know what I mean? 8,000 agents. I mean,
Too many.
900 homes, 8,000 agents.
Doesn't make sense.
What's that, like 10 agents per house?
Per house.
That's crazy.
And what would be the last message that you want the audience to take away from you?
Yes. So I know. So your audience is a mix of, would you say, realtors and also people who are in the investment space?
All real estate orbit. Yeah.
Yes. So if you're a realtor, you need to go back to basics. Leave your ego at the door right now. Right now, you need to focus on what is going to pay your bills and keep your business afloat. Okay, go back 3 years and look at what worked, and only do the things that worked. Don't get creative right now. Right now is the time to fight, right? If you're a realtor. If you're a property owner or investor, if you have multiple properties that you're looking to invest, and if you're in a position to unload right now, it could be a great time, depending on how much property you own and when you bought them and all that stuff, right? Also, if you're a property owner and if you have land, it's something I've been lately getting into, and I'm seeing there is huge opportunity. If you have land, or if you have a property with a huge lot where you can subdivide and build another property there. Big money into that space just because we don't have inventory. I mean, I'm working on a deal right now, and I already have offers on hypothetical houses that are going to be built there. And I'm like, oh wow, like this is a great opportunity, but it just shows that there's no inventory. Right. So if you have properties that you own and you have an extra lot and you can figure out how to make that buildable, you don't have to build it yourself. Just give it to someone, and somebody will gladly buy it to you in a matter of days.
Buy land. They're not making it anymore.
That's right. Mark Twain,
cool.
Right?
That's Mark Twain.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. All right. So once again, Greg Reich, we're here in downtown Providence. We're with Mr. Albert Hajdaraj of Real Brokerage.
We do.
And if you have any questions for me, put them in the comment field below, and he'll get right back to you.
Yes, that's right. Greg doesn't get back to you.
I don't get back.